Welcome to this episode. Do you have ever felt the need to try something new? Like breaking out of your comfort zone? Trying a new dish at your favorite restaurant? No? Lucky you. You should never change your favorite dish at your favorite restaurant, or your dentist, or your barber. But that's exactly what happened to me. And after almost 14 years of purely digital photography, I tried something new, and I took my newly acquired Rolleiflex Automat 1 and my Zeiss Icon Contaflex Super B, which I will just call Contaflex from now on, to Berlin on a trip we did. I brought no digital camera with me except the Fuji X-H2S for filming me. That was quite risky, just like being in Berlin on May 1st, that's the Labor Day, but just being the badass I am, that's what we did. We arrived in Berlin after 6 hours of driving due to the Autobahn being closed because of an accident. So we had to drive through the world's smallest villages, aka somewhere in East Germany, with what felt like 1.9 million other cars. The next morning we wanted to be out quite early, so I already loaded some Portra 400 and we went to sleep, because there are very few things I value more than sleep. The next day, somewhere around 10 a.m., we arrived at the former airport Tempelhof. Of course, we examined the small eagle's head of the even smaller statue that was located above the entrance some time ago. After that, we walked to the Tempelhof airfield. This is nowadays a pretty big fitness area, so nothing for me. I wanted to get out there pretty quick. We found a miniature golf site that looked like it was some post-apocalyptic fallout, and they accepted bottle caps as currency, although we didn't try it. But I really liked the rich and pretty accurate colors that Portra 400 gave me here. Because of the blue skies and harsh shadows, I thought it was a pretty good idea to load some Ilford Pan 50 Plus, a black and white film. Unluckily, we were about to finish our walking around, so that I had the black and white film loaded till the afternoon, when we drove to the outer banks of Berlin to the Teufelsberg, the Devil's Mountain, to do some sunset photography there. You may know black and white and sunsets, not that good of a combination.
Jetzt bin ich eher positiv überrascht.
Das ist so lustig. After taking some amazing black and white images of an all-sunny landscape, we nearly broke our legs while walking down the slopes of the observation hill next to the Teufelsberg. After what felt like 1,000 kilometers or miles or whatever freedom units you count, we reached the main site of Teufelsberg. And after paying the entrance fee to support the poor German families of the people running this site, we entered and we were quite impressed. This being an old CIA observation site, we were quite astonished how they left it behind. Pretty colorful and all full of graffiti. After finishing my black and white film there, almost what felt like wasting it, I loaded some Actor 100 to do these colors justice.
Richtig Leben mit Sonnenschein.
What do you need after a very strenuous location scout on a site that even isn't made for wheelchairs? Of course, some cold brewed mixture of water, malt and hop. After this quick recharge, we climbed the enormous 15-meter, approximately 50 feet, stairs back to the rooftop for some serious sunset photography. What a photographer would I be if I didn't load some pastel Portra 160 for this. Maybe still a pretty shitty one. So here are some images of radomes and graffiti, I guess. In this image I really like how all the subjects are placed, especially the woman in the middle. And this one here might be my favorite of this evening. I really love the pastel colors of the Portra. After sunset, we headed back home to get some rest and energy for the days to come. The next day, just after sunrise, or maybe a few hours later, we got on the subway to Berlin Cathedral. The mission was to photograph the colonnade courtyard in the lovely morning light shining through between the columns. After exactly one shot, I had to reload, and the valuable soft light was about to vanish into oblivion. Luckily, I had improved my skills in speed reloading the Rolleiflex, so it took me only around 4.5 minutes to do that. I loaded a roll of Portra 160. After what felt like 30 seconds though, I was ready to shoot again and continued my learning process of shooting film. On the other side of the Spree River, I found someone's mattress he or she lost after the last rave and shot this. This might be my favorite of the morning. I really don't know what kind of evil, diabolic witchcraft happened to the cathedral's roof, but it's supposed to be green. The plan for the day was to sail around Berlin, check out all the marked places on maps. That meant we visited the Kissing Communists at East Side Gallery, an old red bridge, the Oberbaumbrücke, and whatever else Berlin is known for, except raves and wars. So, here I am. I'm trying to do a long exposure with my Rolleiflex here of this viaduct and with some cars. Actually, I really do not know if they're gonna be in the frame or completely blurred and vanished. So I have f8, so I get a 1/8 of a second with my Portra 160 with a 6-stop ND that gives me about 8 seconds. And now also I have to consider the reciprocity failure, so I calculated 13 seconds. That's gonna be my exposure. Actually, that's a little too long. I guess I will stop down or stop up actually to f4. Let's see. So, as I told you, I opened the aperture to f4 and that gave me a 4-second exposure. But as you can also see, the cars are pretty blurred, so actually I wanted to get a little more of the cars defined. But that's my first long exposure in analog photography. I guess at least it's decently exposed, so what more can I hope for? After this not so award-winning long exposure, we also visited some architectural delicacies. And eventually we landed at the Olympic Stadium. Here I wanted to shoot some black and white because I wanted to show the age of the building and the weather seemed kind of suitable. So I loaded some Ilford Delta 100. This whole Olympic Park, including the stadium, was built for the 1936 Olympic Summer Games, so of course everything had to be as big as possible to show the world how cool the Third Reich was. But Jesse Owens kind of crashed the whole party. I guess that story is well known. After what could be considered a flaming hot day in May in Berlin, the evening plan to photograph the Brandenburg Gate at sunset was washed away by a massive rainstorm. So we decided, after a typical Berlin currywurst, curry sausage, to head back home and sit it out. On our way back, we checked into the memorial of the murdered Jews of Europe. I had some Portra 400 loaded into Condiflex, and so I shot these as a conclusion of the day. This was part 1 of my analog trip to Berlin. If you like the images and this video, please leave me a like, subscribe and comment, and stay tuned for next week's episode 2. Bye for now.